Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, the show on the channel where we take a look at and review some cool new releases that come out in the genres of heavy metal and hard rock, classic rock, jazz fusion, progressive rock. We cover basically that spectrum right there. So today we're taking a look at, I've had this for a little bit, and think I'm ready to talk about it, the brand new release, the 20th studio album, 20 studio albums, from Illinois' own darlings, Cheap Trick, In Another World. Can't say that I like this album cover too much, but whatever. It is bright and lively, right? There's the guys on the back. There they are right there. Okay, this is what you get here. Let's take a look. Let's grab that booklet, shall we? All right, if I can get it out of the digi-thing here. All right, here we go. Nice to see some live photos because, quite frankly, we aren't enjoying any live music at all right now. So here you got the lyrics, photos of the band in the studio, live, all sorts of cool stuff. Okay, this was produced by the band along with Julian Raymond. Just came out real recently. So how does this stack up with the rest of their output? So I will be perfectly honest. I know I've had a lot of people asking in recent months, Pete, when are you going to rank the albums of Cheap Trick? Well, I'll be honest. This is one of those bands that I've always liked Cheap Trick. I obviously grew up with some of the early stuff, but, you can't follow every single band throughout their career. I try really hard to keep up with a lot of the newer stuff from bands that I really love a lot. But obviously there's going to be some that you just don't, right? Because they release so much material. Cheap Trick is one of those. I mean, they pumped out a lot of albums in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, and they're just one of those bands that I always dug, but they weren't like upper echelon band for me, so I just kind of I would hear an album here or there, but this is the first Cheap Trick album I've heard, I think, since the Rockford album, so it's been a while. And that was the first one I had heard in a while before that. But I will say I heard a lot of good things about this album. And quite frankly, here in kind of COVIDville, by the way, just got my second shot. I'm all good to go. So far, feeling pretty good. It's been about 4 hours. So we'll see how the rest of today goes. I got some shows to crank out tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Doing this one on my lunch hour today. But anyway, back to the album. So you've got 13 new tracks on here. I'd kind of call it 12 because one is kind of like a reprise. But this is a lot of fun. This is probably the best Cheap Trick album. And again, I'm missing a lot that I haven't heard. But this is the best that I've heard from them in quite a while. And it's immediate. And that means a lot to me. When I can play an album from a band, new or old, right? And from the first listen, you're already remembering melodies and hooks and riffs and all that kind of stuff. So, I've had, like I said, I haven't had this that long, but I've gotten about 5-6 listens in. It's really good. I think after the first listen, I was pretty sold on it. It starts off, The Summer Looks Good on You is an amazing song. Whether you call Cheap Trick power pop or just good old-fashioned hard rock, whatever you want to call them, there's loads of hooks on here. Great melodies, great riffs, fun stuff, upbeat rockin' stuff, a couple mellower tracks, but I mean the whole album is really infectious. The Summer Looks Good on You, great song. This is going to be an album I'm going to crank up this whole spring and summer season because that is just such a great outdoorsy, kick up the jams type of song. Then you got Quit Waking Me Up is so much fun, great chorus. Robin Zander sounds great on this album. I love Rick Nielsen's backing vocals. He sings on the chorus on here. Really, really cool. Quit Waking Me Up, really good, infectious party power pop track. Then you got Another World, which is basically kind of like the title track. Awesome song. Great melodic pop song. It's kind of mellow, but it's really anthemic in a weird way. Very memorable. Boys and Girls and Rock and Roll. I mean, who would thought a bunch of guys in their mid-late 60s would be singing a song like that? It's really fun. It's just good, upbeat rock and roll. Then you got perhaps my favorite song on the album, which is The Party, which has a killer Rick Nielsen riff. It's so good. It's just good, kind of like 80s hard rock. Great stuff. Final Days, another really cool song. So It Goes is pretty good. That's a little more of a mellower track, right? Light Up the Fire, another good, quick, none of these songs are that long, right? heavy rock song. Passing Through is pretty decent. Here's Looking at You. Can't miss chorus. I'm listening to Here's Looking at You, and I'm thinking, man, if this was like 1977, 78, could totally hear that on the radio. In fact, there's a couple songs on here that, Another World is another one, the title track. In a perfect world, this would be a hit single, right? Then you've got Another World Reprise. Basically, that's reprising the title track, but with a different flavor. That's the heavier version of that song. Very cool. I'll See You Again, kind of mellow, more ballady, right? You got a couple like little acoustic tracks on here. That's one of them. And then Give Me Some Truth is a good upbeat party hard rocker to finish off the album. So I'm digging it. Man, I got to say, Robin Zander still sounds great. If you've seen Cheap Trick live over the last decade or so, he brings it live. The band just sound really on fire here. And more importantly, they sound like they're having fun. Great production on this. Just, I was cranking in the car this morning going to get my COVID shot. And I was just having a great time in the car listening to it on the, 20-minute trip to there and back. Or 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Basically heard the whole album once again in the car. Just really cool. So if you haven't checked this out yet, maybe you haven't listened to a Cheap Trick album in quite a while, kind of like me, definitely pick this up. Really good. It's just lively, fun, memorable, hooky, riffy, the whole 9 yards. Just very, very cool stuff. In Another World, 20th studio album from Cheap Trick. Check it out. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up over the next couple days, maybe a little bit longer than that, I just got the new Liquid Tension experiment, LTE3. Mike Portnoy, if you're watching, excellent job so far, but I need a few more spins on that. Vintage Caravan, we've got that coming up as well. New Inglorious, all sorts of stuff here. New District 97, new cast, new Fernando Perdomo, new Rick Ray band. I'm doing a show with Stephen Reed from Scotland's coming on the show tomorrow evening. We're going to be reviewing some new stuff, so I'll be going through a couple new albums during that particular show along with Stephen. He's got a couple up his sleeve as well, so stay tuned for that. We've got tonight in the Prague seat coming up tonight. All Alan Holdsworth show, our favorite Alan Holdsworth solo albums and guest appearances or other bands that he played with. That's coming up tonight. Lynn Versace and I are getting together to do Meatloaf Top 10 Songs. That's happening tonight as well. We've got the Monsters Den coming up Thursday night for our favorite 10 boogeymen. That's right, our favorite 10 killers from horror, history of horror, right? So Rich Catino, Chris Allo, and myself are doing that. And Friday morning in the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. Stay tuned for that as well. And Praying Mantis ranking the studio albums with Rich Catino on Sunday Morning Brunch with Rich Catino and Pete Pardo. So stay tuned for all this stuff and a lot more. Also going to be bringing you sometime, hopefully over the next couple days or a week, ranking the studio albums from Swedish extreme progressive metal band Meshuggah. That's also happening here in the very near future. Also, you're going to get Fleetwood Mac ranking the studio albums. That's also coming up in the next week and a half. So all this and more happening on the channel, so you don't want to miss any of it. See you guys later as the phone rings. Take care. Bye-bye.